The Slave Pens is the lowest level dungeon in the Quilfing Reservoir, which is this Anger Marsh dungeon hub. For killing mobs inside, you get reputation with the Cenarian Expedition faction, up to Honored on Normal and Exalted on Heroic. You know, I guess killing an old god just didn't cut it for them, so they made a new little clubhouse to prove yourself to. To enter Heroic, you need the Reservoir Key, which requires revered reputation at first, and later on, it'll be nerfed to Honored. You can find the entrance by finding this giant pipe fixture in the middle of the big lake, and swimming through its orifice until you emerge in a deep and murky cavern, filled with crabs. Slave Pens is the leftmost dungeon, marked with the slave pens just outside the portal, and this is a heroic mode guide, but you can adapt it to normal mode if you wish. I would say that this is a medium difficulty level dungeon. Really though, I might stop trying to rank them because it really depends on your composition. As always, general good CC against humanoids will help a lot, as most of the enemies here are humanoids, so Polymorph, Saps, Seduce, Mind Control are going to be useful. There is also an important beast type enemy, so Hibernate will be a nice bonus CC to have. And here's the Mind Control roundup for your priests out there, and keep in mind this is for heroic mode. Usually you can MC most anything on normal mode. The dungeon starts off with 2 patrols of crab people. The first thing I'll say is that you can skip these, quite easily in fact, no cardboard box needed. Just wait for it to walk up, and follow behind, and push into the Slave Master. If you decide to clear them out though, all of these crabs are humanoids, so you can CC them with most CC effects. We happen to have a good AoE composition in this particular run, so we went with the kite and AoE method. And these are really easy mobs to do that with, since they have no ranged attacks, so I recommend that you do the same if you have a heavy AoE comp with area slows. Otherwise, some CC may be in order. They have this armor reduction ability, so keep in mind that your tank might be taking some pretty heavy damage, and it's really helpful to drop a slow or a stun on these mobs so the tank has more control and freedom if they do dip low. The next enemy of note are Slave Masters, who will call the nearby non-elite Broken to aid them if they're nearby, and as soon as you kill the Slave Master, the non-elites run away, so it's not really a tough mob to handle, but if you want to maximize reputation, kill the Broken first, as they do give you a bit of rep. You'll eventually enter the big room, and it's a bit of a wipe spot here, so be ready. You can actually skip most of this part if you kill the Slave Master in the middle. Drag him back ideally so you don't get jumped by a patrol or something, and then if you follow the path as shown here, basically just hugging this outer perimeter and dodging patrols, you can get through this whole room with just that Slave Master. There are some patrols wandering about. If you time it, you can just skip them. Sometimes it is faster just to clear them though. But let's say that you want reputation, or you aggro by accident or something, so let's go over these enemies. The most dangerous in this room are the champions and the Rays, who have fears, and they're the cause of most wipes here. Someone gets feared into the next pack, it's very easy. They will be in that first pack to your right, so the best option here is to pull them back in this hallway that you just cleared. The Ray's Fear is a cast, but it is very fast, so you really have to be on top of interrupts. And they are susceptible to cast slows, so if you have them, use them. The champions also have a cleave, so make sure that your tank faces them away. The soothsayers are quite dangerous, as they have a mind control, so definitely a mob that you don't want running around. Either kill them first, or CC them until they're last, and if they do get a mind control off, CC that player. They also decay your intellect, so no worries to any horde out there. As for the observers, these guys will throw dynamite and such, so don't stack. And the technicians will also do some AoE, so don't stack. Again. You also have the Enchantress. Her main ability of note is the Lightning Cloud, which is just a copy of the Druid's Hurricane AoE, so just don't stand in it. But they do also root, which can complicate things, so definitely dispel that right away if you see it. And collaborators are mostly melee mobs with a cripple attack and an enrage. The healers heal, if you haven't figured that out yet. Make sure you interrupt them, and they also have a shield which can be dispelled or spell stolen. As for the Tempests, these are the rogue type mobs with deadly poison and sinister strike, and a bit higher damage than normal as they do dual wield. The kill order really depends on your setup. Usually people kill the Soothsayers or the Ray first. Just don't let them both run free. CC one, kill the other. Guarding the next door though are 2 Coilfang defenders, and these guys hit rather hard, so don't underestimate them. There's a good rule of thumb with all of these heroics. The bigger the enemies are, the higher chance they're immune to crowd control, and such is the case with these defenders. You can still stun and slow them and whatnot, it's just no sheeps, nor saps, or anything long term. They also have a spell reflect, so don't be a dummy like me and damage yourself. Entering the next room, you'll find a pack to the left, and you can ignore them unless you want the extra room. You don't really need it, in my opinion. The next boss will be patrolling the steps, so grab the 3-pack at the bottom of the ramp, and pull them around the corner, and there will be a 4-pack behind them, but you can skip them, so just ignore them ideally, and grab the boss, Mennu the Betrayer. This guy is kind of a discount shaman. He only had enough gold to train lightning bolt and a few totems. He'll drop a rooting totem, a healing totem, stone skin, and fire nova. Kill every totem you see immediately but fire, and that's because this one will explode for some big AoE damage, either A, after a few seconds, or B when it dies, so the best way to handle it is to drag the boss away and let it time out. So immediately kill Earth Grab, Stone Skin, and Healing Totems. They have like 1 health. As you can see, a simple hamstring gets rid of them. And if he drops a Fire Totem, drag him away. Pretty easy boss, but not as easy as your mom. And heading up the ramp, you'll have some more Defender patrols and a big trash skip. Once you reach this bridge, you can line yourself up and drop to the platform below, like the coward that you are. You can even just run past all of these mobs, and they'll evade and reset once you're in position. And from here you want to jump down to this ledge. Jump a bit earlier than you would think, or else you'll hit your head on this wall. It has a bit of a slope that's hard to see from this angle. And from here you just fight the next boss. If you don't want to do that skip though, let's say maybe you have the quest to find the druid who's at the top of this ramp, or maybe you're doing the Serpent Shrine attunement from this NPC in this cage, just continue forward as you normally would and drop down into the water. You'll find mainly 2-packs and 3-packs in your way here. Nothing that should wipe you, so just take it slow and clear one at a time. And clearing up to the boss, you'll have some easy crabs to the left, nothing really worth noting there, but also a 4-pack with a ray to the right. Clear the crabs first so you don't get feared into them, and then pull the 4-pack back or around line of sight. The key to any fear mob is to put yourself into a position where, even if you miss the interrupt, you won't get feared into another pack. And next we have the King Crab, Rokmar the Crackler. Definitely a step up from Mennu, as he has a few dangerous abilities. He is a confirmed spitter. Water Spit is an AoE water bolt, and is frost damage, so run Frost Aura or Frost Resistance Totem if you have a Pally or Shaman, and he'll also put Grievous Wound on the tank. Just like the Mythic Plus affix, this will deal damage over time until the afflicted is fully healed, so make sure that the tank is topped off at all times, and use cooldowns to do that if raw heals aren't enough. A good time to use your health stone or a potion or something. At low health, he'll Frenzy, increasing attack speed, so that's another good spot for a defensive cooldown. Moving forward, you'll have a pretty harsh 5-pack and 2 defenders patrolling around the room. You can skip this pack by just walking to the left. It is risky though because the next pack has an unavoidable fear. If we have a shaman, I always like to skip the big pack and just sneak around the side here and pull the 4-pack out of the patrol's way. If you don't have a shaman though, I do suggest just pulling the 5-pack back and making sure to get that patrol first so the 5 doesn't turn into a 7. So CC here will probably be required if you don't have a good AoE comp. There is a Ray here too, who will fierce, so just be mindful of that. Try to kill it first or something, interrupt it. The next 4-pack will have champions. Again, pull them back. Even if you have Tremor, because sometimes that can take a couple of seconds to work. And as for this far pack on the edge, you can just run right by it. You'll soon enter the room with the final boss, Quagmar. Of course, he has a crab problem. 2 packs of 4 patrolling back and forth, and a pack of Naga up the hill. The first thing I'll say is that you don't need to kill any of this. Just wait for the closer pad and then follow behind it, and then hang a right into this cubby, and from here you can just fight the boss near his pool, and up the hill will be a caged druid. Releasing him will spawn some enemies, and if you take him out and return to him, he'll give you a nice buff with some nature resistance. This buff is handy because the next boss does a lot of nature damage. He'll throw out an AoE poison volley, which is cleansable, so make sure you do that. He also cleaves, so face him away from the group. And periodically, he'll target a random party member and start spraying uncontrollably, which will pelt any person in front of them with nature damage. There are two ways to handle this. First is to have everyone stack on his butt, and whoever gets the spray sidestep so it's not hitting everyone, or everyone spread out. As you can see, in this group, we did the stacking strategy. Just keep in mind if you do stack, you really have to stack. Don't be too far behind because, math lesson here, the longer the radius between you and the boss, the greater distance you'll have to travel to face the spray away from everyone else. As long as everyone is paying attention, I think the stacking method is superior, but really it's up to you. If you don't trust your group, probably the spread out method is better. After the spray concludes, of course get back behind them so you don't get cleaved. And if you want more room to fight, you can drag them back to where you just cleared, but if you do the trash skip like we did, you'll have to fight them on this ledge, which makes things a bit more tricky. So again, if you have trouble, definitely make use of that buff by freeing the NPC, or if you have a hunter with Nature Resistora, or shaman with their totem, great, make sure you make use of that. And that's that. The slave pens on Heroic. Like I said, more of a medium difficulty dungeon. The final boss probably being the most difficult part of it. Fear will also be your downfall, both in game and in real life. Try not to let either get to you, and another good dungeon to bring a shaman. But really, you can say that for any BC dungeon in my opinion. This is my third in a series of guides where I cover each and every heroic in the Burning Crusade Classic, and if you enjoyed it or found it helpful, I'll have a playlist to the rest in the description that you may find handy, as well as general tips and tricks that you can use in all heroics in the game. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.